skies are darkening the world, you know. The hills no longer green. Like the animals, your blood will flow. Dreaming of this Christmas.
Smiling wide with empty eyes, I'll find you. You're a lot of fun, just like your friend. You're hiding, but I'm deep inside your mind. You'll die 1,000 times. Do you wanna try again? You're tired of running, nowhere to hide it. I'm getting closer every second.
Behind you.
There's so many souls to play with, so little time. Not long till I find you. Run for your life. You're in my world now. You're joining your friends. I'm coming to take your soul. In the end, you can't run.
A creature who is torn between 3 different personalities, all changing in one body. All of them linked in mind, body, and soul. A horrific sonic entity that traps you within its world, tortures you, and believes it is the hero. Commonly referred to as Shin, or the false savior, this creature is made by Shefki, an EXE who is originally a different take on EXE, or commonly referred to as Faker, before becoming into something of his own. While there isn't much media for this particular monster, it still is a cherished creature throughout the EXE community, and is expected to get an FNF mod. But for now, it does have a little bit of lore and a lot of wonderful art to go along with it. So I figured I might as well take this time and explain it to you. Upon your guys' request and also my curiosity, I'm going to be explaining to you just what the false savior is. Taken directly from the wiki, the description reads as follows. Shin is a god in his universe, destroying everything and everyone who comes near or enters it. He loves to watch people suffer and fall to their knees, forcing them to pray and beg for compassion. Shin is one of the deadliest beings to ever have existed, with ultimate power and numerous worlds to collect for his games. He snatches the souls of people to use as pawns in said game. Shin is a deity, but he can only do what he wants if it is within his realm. You can see the comparison between the false savior and EXE because this is something akin to the Black Sun. But while EXE has his harbingers, the false savior has different arcs, as they're called. The false savior's domain resembles old MMORPG games like Rakion and Toram Online, filled with NPCs that exist to fool you, the player. I know I just completely butchered the saying of that, and I want to apologize. And while I think the art and story for Shin is really interesting, I started to notice a few inconsistencies within this wiki, but you guys will just have to hang on and hear me out as I continue to explain this EXE, and I'll go over what I heard. In the false savior's world, it keeps the idea that everything is normal. And if you didn't know prior, you'd be completely unsuspecting. The false savior often tests those who enter his world, usually by taking the form of our lovable blue hedgehog, with blue arms and eyes kept mostly shut, either as another attempt at appearing friendly or because he lacks them entirely. Though you better not cheat or even think of cheating in this game, as his mood is very prone to changing quickly if he suspects you are. If this happens, you're likely to receive a very cruel punishment. The wiki gives us this example: filling your stomach and lungs with starving rats. Now, I've never had starving rats inside my lungs or stomach, but I can't imagine it would be, very pleasant. But hey, don't knock it till you try it, guys. Put starving rats in your lungs and stomach. The wiki describes the false savior as a very broken, demented creature. As mentioned earlier, his body is inhabited by 3 separate beings: Shin, Astaroth, and Toebe. Honestly, I'm not sure how to say that last name because the E is accented. So you guys can let me know down in the comments below. Just know that I'm gonna say Toba for this video for the sake of me trying to get it as accurate as I can. Though out of all these personalities, Shin is the most dominant one. Joined in mind, body, and soul, those who first interact with him describe his demeanor to be something strange or unsettling, despite his cheery nature. Each of these souls, when they take possession, have different appearances. This being Shin, this being Astaroth, and this one being Toba. I think now is a good time to mention there's actually quite a lot of artwork for the False Savior, and to add to that, look at how insane this is. I really love the design here, and the overall theme is done so well. The black and white, the kind of like screaming image, like it just goes really, really well together. And I gotta say, I love seeing all the art for this character. Now, you might be asking, what exactly is Shin's motive? Why torture people? Is he a sadist like many before him? Well, Shin is empty, doing terrible things from sheer boredom. It's said he feels nothing at all, and that he does it simply because he can. But even with this, the False Savior genuinely believes that he is a hero, viewing himself as a savior to those who dare to cross his path. It's truly a shame there hasn't been much media on the character, given the fact I can see a lot of potential in this EXE. An RPG-like world with 12 arcs to explore. I mean, how cool would a game adaptation of this be? While we likely won't ever get that specifically, the FNF mod EXE merge is to be released in the future, assuming it won't get canceled. There's even some FNF art, and a good amount of it as well. There's even one of a cover of Obituary, which I thought was pretty interesting, and all of which, once again, being really cool. I'm going to introduce a new segment to whenever I look into these EXEs. That segment discussing some of the abilities. While power scaling these abominations could be quite difficult, when the wiki lists their abilities, I might as well mention them. So, the False Savior has a wide range of ability, these being Mind Manipulation, Super Strength, Aura of Decay, Real World Manifestation, so no one is really safe, Hallucination, Blessings, quote unquote, Aberration Shroud, Hellblast, Mimicry, Run, and Shapeshifting. Yes, Run is actually an ability, and we'll get to that in a second, but oh my god, what can't this guy do? Let's just talk about some of these abilities and what he can do within his world to get a better idea. Just because, honestly, I know one person who's going to pick the bear, so to speak, and try to fight this thing or think that they can beat it. First off, Mind Manipulation. He places his hand on your forehead, and after extreme pain, you're under his control. I feel like this could be a way after he manifests into the real world, he can put his hand on your head and you kind of become under his control, and he'll make you enter his world. But if he's powerless in the outside world, can he do that? Honestly, not sure. I'm not going to focus on it too much because some of these abilities are pretty interesting. It said his super strength can decapitate Knuckles with flicking his finger. And that's kind of crazy. Aura of Decay. When Shin transforms, everything around him rots and decays. His hallucination ability isn't really a hallucination, as it become a reality should it hit you or scare you, like at all. Then it will physically hurt you even though it's technically not real. The blessings I mentioned earlier are really just curses that he places on you, but you know, they're just disguised. Hellblast, which may seem familiar to some EXE fans. Should it hit you, you'll explode, burn, and then melt. Not sure how that works, but I mean, it sounds terrible. Another thing that may seem familiar is his run ability, where if he says run, well, you'll need to run like your life depends on it, because, you know, it does. And should you escape him, you'll be doomed to repeat the loop. Though, something interesting is stated here. There is an option that involves you leaving, but he'll wait for another victim. Not sure what the escape conditions are, but it may not seem entirely hopeless. And while he may seem like he's unstoppable, it said he does have a weakness. This weakness being the power of distraction. He can be distracted easily, and while I'm not sure what this would do, it is an option that, you know, you could take and to perhaps stall for time. And while I love the idea of this EXE, I couldn't help but to read through this wiki and kind of get a little confused, because if it says that he has ultimate power, but he can only do what he wants if it's within his realm, but it's also said that he can drag people into this world. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding something here, but I mean, hey, It's an EXE, and it'll find its way to eventually get you trapped inside of its world, as that's kind of like the whole point. Again, I'm not going to focus too much on it. I just wanted to say something that I noticed. It's worth mentioning that at the top of the False Saviors wiki page, there's actually a quote said by Shin, where we can click on a hyperlink to a girl named Pandora. Pandora has her own wiki page, though not much is here. We do get something. According to the creator, this is about 30% of Amy Rose and is one of the 12 arcs of the False Savior. According to the wiki, Shin hates Pandora, becoming afraid and bearing hatred at the slight mention of her name. Shin will go out of his way to kill Pandora, only for her to be revived. There's also a pretty good amount for this character as well, and I actually really like this design. Pandora even has a reference sheet. Pretty neat. I find it interesting that an arc has this much I think that the creator really took a liking to this character and the potential concept. Now, this is the only arc that I could find that had its own wiki page and had a little bit of substance to it. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Another thing about the False Savior is it's often compared to 2017X because of its belief that it is a hero. It takes the form of Sonic, but it doesn't believe that it is Sonic and only has that slight comparison. Regardless, this EXE has been really fun for me to look into. The art style that's shown has been a joy to look at, and I really hope more stuff is made around this EXE, as I could see a lot of concepts displayed with this character. Though, for now, this is all we got. What I've shown to you, what I've talked about, is the False Savior. EXE-lent creature aside, I wanted to get this video out and talk about a smaller EXE before diving into the Nightmare Universe, because yes, I have been reading your comments, and a lot of it has been asking me to get into the Nightmare Universe. Thank you for your patience, and get ready for my biggest nightmare yet. I'll see you guys again soon.